Hello, my name is Frank Christensen and I'm the coordinator of officials for IFAF in Europe. In this training tape, we'll look at personal foul face mask. We'll look at the actual face mask, but also other situations where other parts of the helmet are grabbed. And we'll look at who should call it and perhaps more specifically, who shouldn't necessarily be looking there to see it. But before we get there, let's have a look to see what the rulebook and the MOFO have to say on this topic. In the rulebook, we go to Rule 918, Helmet and Face Mask Fouls. Article 8A, no player shall continuously contact an opponent's face, helmet, including the face mask, or neck with hand or arm, and the exception is by and against the ball carrier or simulated ball carrier. B goes on, no player shall grasp and then twist, turn, or pull the face mask, chin strap, or any helmet opening of an opponent. It is not a foul if the face mask, chin strap, or helmet opening is not grasped and then twisted, turned, or pulled. When in question, it is a foul. In the MOFO, we go to 3-3 contact fouls. Number 11. A. Incidental grasping in a pile of players should not be called unless there's twisting that makes it a 15-yard penalty. And B says, remember that a face mask foul involves grasping the helmet or face mask, not simply touching it. And finally, when in doubt principles. When in doubt, the face mask, chin strap, or helmet opening has been grasped, then twisted, turned, and pulled. And that was the book. Now let's have a look at some game film. In this first play, the face mask is going to happen to the quarterback, so he is in the pocket, and right there he's going to get pulled. Now it's called by both the referee and the center judge, and the quarterback is in the pocket, so he would still be the responsibility of both the referee and the center judge. You could argue that it's probably difficult for the center judge at least to see exactly what happens. He may just be he may have a good view there. I would also think that certainly the line judge would have a good view, and based on this formation, the center or the line judge, since he doesn't have any key, he would be looking at the tackle, the wing back, into that area, and it is actually the wing back's opponent who does the face mask. So line judge certainly could be involved in this, but certainly a very good one to get. On this play, the victim is going to be the running back. So right there, correctly called by the referee. Now certainly both wings probably also can be involved in this. Probably most likely the line judge, since he doesn't have a key down the field. But since we also asked the wings to be involved in progress here, they should have at least one eye on the runner and should have a fairly good idea or angle to see this. Also, one thing to notice here, this is a Team B foul in the backfield, so the progress spot here would be the previous one. Also, let's try not to hit players with the flag as this referee accidentally does here. Since we don't need the spot here, anywhere on the ground would be fine. In this example, the referee does a really good job of cleaning up, because he may be, we can't really see what the angle is for the wings, but they may be blocked on this, and he just may have the only good angle to it. Now, I'm not saying that we want the referee to follow the running back, certainly not when he crosses the line of scrimmage, but here he does a good job of, he has the perfect angle here, and he does a good job of cleaning up and picking this up, because missing this would be a big deal. This next one is very interesting in terms of focus. So we have the play here, and then the defensive end reaches out and grabs a face mask. So the call is correct. The interesting part is who calls it and who doesn't call it. So right now, right there, this would be in the area of the linesman and the center judge. So we would expect those two officials certainly to have a flag, and interestingly enough, neither one has a flag here. On the other hand, it is called by the umpire and the side judge, and it is somewhat unusual for those two officials to be looking at the runner while the runner is still in the offensive backfield. So before you go ahead and pat yourself on the back for making a call like this, if you were, on the backside, or in this case, a deep official or an umpire, make sure that nothing happens in your area that you need to be looking at. Now, obviously, we're happy that this gets called, but for example, for the umpire, is there nothing happening between you and the runner that you need to be looking at and that nobody else will be looking at while you are focusing in on the runner? If it just opens up to you and you call it, that's fine, but just make sure, and the same for the deep wing, make sure that nothing else with your key or your area in front of the ball, nothing is going on where you need to be looking at that and then leaving the runner to the wing and the backfield official. And when we see the end zone shot, which is pretty much the back judge's angle, you'll see what I mean. So here's the same play, but from the angle pretty much of the back judge. And right there you have a perfect view of it. But if I were the back judge here, I wouldn't throw this right away. If somebody else sees this and somebody else throws a flag in there, I would not throw my flag. If nobody sees it, then my flag comes out, because I would be too preoccupied with my own area, my own coverage, and I wouldn't want to necessarily immediately, at least, interject my own flag in somebody else's pond when there's a very, very good chance that they called it. And from this angle, we can even see that the side judge also calls it. So that's good that we at least got one of the primary officials calling it. But again, for the deep wing and for the umpire, just make absolutely sure that nothing is going on in your area before you start fishing in other people's ponds. Once again here, the running back is going to be the victim, but this is an interesting play for a number of reasons. So the referee has a flag, the line judge here at the bottom of the screen has a flag, but for the referee and his focus is interesting, because he keeps his focus on the running back. He could also very well be focusing or keeping his focus on the quarterback, simply because B30, the defender, is getting close to the quarterback. Now, nothing happens here, but that certainly could be something that you would want to keep an eye on, just to make sure that that B30 here doesn't just come in and kill the quarterback. But again, a correct call. Probably also could have had the line of scrimmage official across the field, the linesman, but he may just be blocked out by the players, the running back and the defender who does it. Now, if you notice, the line judge here picks up his flag. Now, there really is no reason to pick up this flag, since it's going to be it's a B foul, so it's either previous spot or end of run. So the spot foul here is irrelevant, or the spot of the foul is irrelevant. So it's a good habit to get into to make sure that your flag is in the right spot, but also you can think it through after you throw your flag and realize that here you don't really need that spot, so you can leave the flag and go talk to your buddies. Here's the same play as the previous one, just from the end zone. You get a good look at what the referee sees. It certainly is a good call for a face mask. Just make sure, just like we talked about before, that when it happens that you're not responsible for looking at something else also. Here there's a potential against the quarterback, but I think that's fine to let them go since B30 lets up, and there's nothing really else that we need to be looking at. Possibly the pulling guard could be of interest as a referee, but again, a good call by the referee to be in on this personal foul face mask. We're now moving away from the actual face mask and moving on to other helmet openings. And this play is actually a legal play, even though it looks bad. So obviously if he grabs the face mask, that's a foul. If he grabs the chin strap, that's a foul. If he grabs the any other helmet opening, so the ear hole or the neck, or the back of the neck of the helmet, that would also be a foul. Here it's just very difficult to see that he's grabbing anything other than around the helmet. So if you don't know that he grabbed anything, we don't want to call this. If you are pretty sure that he grabbed something, now we're talking about a safety foul, and we're going to err on the side of safety and call it. Here, where we have an idea that he probably didn't grab anything, even though he is touching the helmet, then we're not going to call this at all. So this is a good no call. And if we compare the previous spot and the previous play and how sure we were about the face mask to this one, where we may not be 100% sure, but it's close. And when it's this close, we're going to err on the side of safety, and we're going to call this as a personal foul face mask. Even though he's not grabbing the face mask, he's probably grabbing either the chin strap or the back of the helmet. But this is still the same foul called a face mask, even though he doesn't grab the face mask. And I mean, this is a huge call. If we don't have a flag on this, we have a turnover instead. So this is a good job of getting this call and moving on with the game. This play is very similar to the previous one in the way that we're pretty sure that this is a helmet opening foul and correctly called by the line judge. And again, we want to call this and good focus by this wing official to get it. Is this a crew of 8? The center judge can also be involved, but again, we want to make sure that that we're not just looking at the ball, if we can be looking somewhere else. But for the line judge here, this is a correct call. And even if we're only 95% sure that he grabbed the back of the helmet, this is something that we want to call, that we need to call. So here's another example of a foul involving a helmet opening, not necessarily the face mask. And I think it's pretty clear right there that just the way the running back reacts to the contact, that this is not a jersey grab, it's not a flat hand on the helmet. This is actually a grab and a shake of the helmet. So even though again it's not a face mask, it is a face mask foul using another helmet opening, and a good call by the referee cleaning up. Probably or possibly the wing could also see this, but certainly for the referee, this is it's a very good call to be involved in. The last two examples in this training tape are very, very difficult to get because they happen away from the ball. And anytime a face mask foul happens away from the ball, it's very, very difficult to catch. Right now we're looking at B1 coming into the backfield and grabbing the guard right there. Luckily, this was called by the wing official who's cleaning up, who does a really good job of catching this. So right there, it opens up to the wing, so he does a good job of cleanup. The referee and the center judge here in this crew of 8 would also be responsible for what happens in the backfield. So they would also be, if not expected to see this when it's this difficult, they would certainly be involved in the post-game discussion of who can see this, because if nobody sees it, then we would primarily or initially at least be looking through the referee and the center judge to pick this up as we would with anything else that happens in the backfield. But good job by the wing to see this, because we are expected to see all blocks, and even though this is not a traditional block, this is contact that is illegal and that we need to catch. In this last example, we're looking at the receiver and cornerback here closest to the screen, who are going to do blocking for this running play, and the cornerback ends up, whether it's on purpose or not, doesn't make a difference, but this is field judge key all the way. He is looking at these two players right now, and right now, we should be checking this couple for potential offensive holding, and the field judge should have a very good angle at this. So how we miss this is a mystery, because this is something that we should be able to get, even though it doesn't happen to the runner, and even though there is no holding, we should be able to see this entire act. There's a good angle. I would not necessarily expect the wing to see this, simply because the runner could be screening him off, but for the deep wing, possibly even the back judge looking from his angle should or could be able to see this. So this is something that, even though personal foul face mask typically happens to the runner, it is something that we see all over the field, and we have to be diligent and very good at catching these. And that was it for this training tape. I hope it made sense, and I hope you found something you can use on the field.